August 26th. Welcome, everyone. I'm Todd Robbins. On this day, the 26th, a lot of malevolent things happened in the past. Here's just a handful of them. It's a very sad event happened in 1930 on this day. Lon Chaney Sr., the great actor, silent film actor, died. He was 47 years old, died of cancer. He had done so many just iconic dark films, Phantom of the Opera, the original Phantom of the Opera, original Hunchback of Notre Dame, The Unholy Three, and so many more. I did many of them with a wonderful director, one of my favorites, Todd Browning. He died on this day. His son carried on, of course. Lon Chaney Jr. became the Wolf Man a few years later and carried on the tradition. On this day, in 1973, the University of Texas at Arlington becomes the first accredited university to offer a course in belly dancing. There's progress for you. And on this day, in 1985, the French government said they knew nothing about the sinking of the Rainbow Warrior. That was the ship that, the flagship of the Greenpeace folks, the organization. It was sunk in New Zealand. Sabotage. And French knew nothing about this. Sure. Speaking of knowing nothing about things, Robert Chambers on this day murdered in 1986. He murdered Jennifer Levin. They were having sex in Central Park. Things got out of hand and he strangled her. He said that things got out of hand because they were having some rough sex and that he didn't intend to kill her. Yeah, right. So Robert Chambers, the preppy killer, did the deed on this day. On this day, 2016, a very memorable day, Colin Kaepernick, the 49ers, from San Francisco 49ers, took a knee in protest during the singing of the national anthem. And the conversation goes on to this day, doesn't it? People, well, you know all the things that have happened. It'll be interesting to see how this all resolves, if it ever is resolved. On this day, speaking of resolved, 2019, Johnson & Johnson was ordered to pay the state of Oklahoma $572 million in the first trial against a manufacturer of opiates. On this day in 1845 was the birth of a woman named Mary Ann Nichols. Name doesn't ring a bell. That's really too bad, because she was the first victim of a guy named Jack the Ripper. Yes, she died in 1888. She was born on this day in 1845. On this day is another birthday. Oh, mercy. Yvette Vickers. Yowza. What a gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful woman. She was a Playboy playmate. She was born on this day in 1936. And she's best known as an actress in the classic film. I think it won a Pulitzer and an Oscar, The Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. She was the 50-foot woman of the title. On this day in 1795, the death of Alessandro Cagliostro. He was a real character. I love characters. I really do. I love people that just lived on the edge, and this guy did. He was a magician. But in those days, it was hard to tell the difference between trickery and magic, real magic, science, whatever you want to call it. And he straddled the line, and he was a quack. He was a hypnotist. Did all these occult trappings for magic tricks and made people think that what they were seeing was real. And he ended up being given a life sentence for being a Freemason. So he died on this day at the age of 52 while incarcerated at Castel Sant'Angelo. On this day is another sad death. Tony Pastor passed away in 1908. Tony Pastor was a man who basically created vaudeville. Variety entertainment, as we know, juggling and acrobatics and magic and all sorts of things. It was fairly disreputable in the 1900s. It was done in places like they were called concert saloons, and these were, Western, when a guy rides in and he gets off his horse and goes into the saloon, and they're dancing girls in the back. Well, that was actually a rare thing. That's a concert saloon. That's something that actually was very much on the East Coast in urban areas. There were some out west, places like Tombstone, Arizona, but for the most part, it was in New York and in Boston and in places like New York and Boston phenomenon. And they're very disreputable. Pickpockets, thieves, the young ladies that were dancing and serving drinks were available for other performances, private performances, if you know what I mean. And Tony Pastor was a guy who took what was being done on stage and put it into a legitimate theater and outlawed drinking and smoking and made it acceptable for family audiences, encouraged children and women to attend, and cleaned up the whole industry. And we wouldn't have things like America's Got Talent if it was not for Tony Pastor. And now that I say that, maybe damn him, but he was a remarkable man. Tony Pastor. On this day, another death in 1974, Charles Lindbergh, the first man to fly across solo across the Atlantic Ocean, passed away at 72. His legacy is a little bit tarnished because of in the 1930s, he didn't think Hitler was such a bad guy. Okay, we all make mistakes. And finally, on this day was the death of Tex Avery. He was born in 1908 and he died on this day in 1980. Tex Avery was a cartoonist. He was an illustrator and produced cartoons. And he introduced kind of joyous violence. That image we have of, the small cartoon character hitting a mallet on someone's foot and their eyes bugging out, and someone getting angry and steam coming out of their head. That Tex Avery, he was responsible for that. And he also created a couple of characters, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Elmer Fudd, and so many others for Warner Brothers. He died on this day. So Tex Avery, the man that brought joy to violence. Well, there you go, and there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video because I do this for you, and you know who you are. And if you do enjoy this video, hit the like button and subscribe and hit the notifications so that you're warned when the next video comes out, so you can join me here. And that is, if you survive all the malevolent things that will be happening to you on this day, today. And if you don't survive, well, do me a favor. As you're passing away, if you have the opportunity, and you're dying there, if there are people around you, draw one of them close to you and look at them and say, "Why did you do that?" And then close your eyes and drift away. Always keep them guessing. That's what I recommend. And I'm Todd Robbins. And in regards to this day today, good luck.